On March 2nd, 2015, the game developer Scott Cawthon would publish the third game in the franchise of Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 would have been the final game in the franchise, if there wasn't one small problem with the jump scare of the main antagonist, Springtrap. In Five Nights at Freddy's 3, you take the role of a security guard watching over a horror theme park named Fazbear's Frights. Each Five Nights at Freddy's games has a new set of horrifying enemies to face, such as Phantom Freddy, Phantom Foxy, and Phantom Balloon Boy. But most importantly, Springtrap, which had a jump scare that fans hated so much that he created the fourth installment, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, or as he called it, the final chapter. In the fourth installment, you play as a child facing off against the monsters that lurk in the darkness. Nightmare Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and scariest of all, Fredbear. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 took away many gameplay mechanics we were used to, such as a Freddy mask, maintenance panel, and even the camera system. And in return, gave us a lot more questions that need to be solved, such as, who is Nightmare? Or, what's in the box? And biggest of all, was that the bite of 87 or 83? But the biggest thing that made Scott carry on was how horrifying Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was. So in turn, he made a game that nobody saw coming. Five Nights at Freddy's World. Now this game took a dramatic turn from horrifying jump scares and heart-racing nights to cute characters and funny taglines. Although this game has adorable characters and rolling pizza, there is a dark side of this game. Children, teenagers, adults, and even fans of the Five Nights franchise hated and despised this game, and to this day, some probably still do. And Scott took this personally by making some mildly disturbing imagery, but he knew he couldn't stop here. So on October 7th, 2016, Five Nights at Freddy's sister location was born. This game received an extreme amount of love, like a 9 out of 10 rating on Steam, and a 4.5 on the Apple iStore. This game was the first quote-unquote free roam FNAF game, where each night you have a set objective that can cause you to crawl from room to room, sometimes having to interact with animatronics, or even hide in them. After achieving the canon ending and the private room ending, you unlock the Custom Night. After beating the Custom Night's ultimate challenge, Golden Freddy mode, you are greeted with this cutscene.
It's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Showing that more is to come. Like on December 4th, 2017, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator was published. This entry in the Five Nights franchise was like no other. You could customize your pizzeria to however you desire. And after you clock out, you get to salvage new animatronics and some familiar ones. After salvaging them, you then have to fend them off in a ventilation system with a flashlight and audio lures. After completing all 6 nights and salvaging each animatronic, you are met with this cutscene.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth. If you still even remember that name. but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Now, even though Henry killed Springtrap, he didn't kill William Afton, leaving more to come after.